And now they're making a movie about Leonard Bernstein, and Bradley Cooper is playing it. I mean, if he can get through the picket lines. You see, like Rachel Brosnahan playing Mrs. Maisel and Helen Mirren playing Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir. Bradley is, sadly, a Gentile. And that's the new sin in Hollywood, being a non-Jewish actor portraying a Jew. Because that's always been the problem in Hollywood, not enough Jews. Eddie Redmayne played a transgender woman in The Danish Girl, but now calls that a mistake, because many people don't have a chair at the table. Well, actually, in movies now, they do. And what does it have to do with you playing trans? Does it then work the other way? Can trans actors only play trans characters? Because that's not going to be a good deal for them.
Bill Maher just torched woke Hollywood for what he calls ruining the movie experience entirely. It feels like those days are gone when families packed into a theater and watched films free of preachy nonsense, but now woke messages get shoved in our faces every single time. Maher has had enough, and he let Hollywood have it hard and without mercy. So hit that subscribe button and let's get into it.
Every other movie that comes out, all of which are made by liberals for liberals with ardent liberal intent, fall short. If the movie is about poverty, the director didn't grow up poor enough to understand it. If it's about being gay, it's not gay enough. Asian, not Asian enough. Female, not enough agency. Race, don't even try. Sidelining, whitewashing, colorism, white saviorism. No amount of virtue signaling is ever virtuous enough. But somehow, 96% of film critics love Top Gun like a Catholic priest loves sleepaway camp.
Maher kicks things off with a question that stops you in your tracks. Why doesn't the woke crowd even enjoy the movies they pushed for? Think about that for a second. These films were built from the ground up by woke studios, written by woke writers, and greenlit specifically to please those audiences. Every box was checked, every demand was met, and yet, somehow it still isn't enough. They watch these movies and still complain that they don't go far enough. More diversity, more messaging, more. Maher sees right through it, and his point is razor sharp. You simply cannot satisfy these people. There's no finish line, no version of a movie that will ever make them happy. The goalpost keeps moving, and Hollywood keeps chasing it like a dog that will never catch the car. Maher is done playing that game.
Is that what diversity and inclusion look like now? Everybody's staying in their lane? Lawrence of Arabia was gay. Peter O'Toole wasn't. I can live with that. Because he was so cool, he almost made me gay. Emma Stone caught hell for playing a Hawaiian, Jake Gyllenhaal for playing a Persian, Gal Gadot for wanting to play Cleopatra, Johnny Depp for playing an Indian, even though he's not an actual Comanche, and spoiler alert, he also doesn't really have scissor hands.
Maher turns his attention to another thing quietly ruining Hollywood, and this time it isn't just the themes, it's the uneven way debates about representation and cultural appropriation get handled in the industry. Here's the argument he's making: if an actor takes a role that doesn't match their background, backlash can come quickly, careers get threatened, apologies are demanded, and studios sometimes back down but flip the script, and the reaction can be very different in some cases. Actors from other backgrounds take roles without the same level of criticism. No outrage, no think pieces, no cancellations, just silent. Maher calls this a double standard. In his view, it's less about consistent principles and more about who gets to set the rules and when they apply.
Tom Hanks now says that if Philadelphia were made today, he wouldn't do it because the character was gay and he's not. Well, besides the fact that this would force all gay actors to reveal their sexuality, even if they didn't want to, great actors, which Tom is one, try hard to keep their private lives private so we don't think of their real lives when we see them in a movie that attempts to transport us into a different world. Could you really look at this actress now and not think of the trial? Should she only play bed-shitters now?
Here's the core of the argument. Some critics say Hollywood is turning out weaker movies because talented actors are passing on roles, sometimes out of concern about backlash or how a casting choice will be received. The idea is that performers who could truly elevate a role might step away, and studios then prioritize other considerations in casting. When that happens, the concern is that performances may not land as strongly, which can affect the story and, ultimately, the overall film. In the end, audiences are the ones who feel it most. People who just want to sit back, enjoy a movie, and feel like their time and money were well spent.
What's Daniel Day-Lewis really like? I haven't a clue, which is why he's so great. Because when he plays Lincoln, I only see Lincoln. I don't think, well, there's a British heterosexual. But Hanks says, I don't think people would accept the inauthenticity of a straight guy playing a gay guy because, quote, we're beyond that now. Don't get him started on bosom buddies.
Some argue that even major stars like Tom Hanks might hesitate to take on certain roles such as playing a gay character because of concerns about how the casting would be received online. From that perspective, it's understandable why an actor might think twice, knowing how quickly criticism can build before a film even reaches theaters. No matter how strong the performance or how much care goes into the role, there's a sense that some viewers would still find fault. Others suggest the issue may go deeper, that some actors and audiences increasingly believe performers should only portray characters who closely match their own identities. If that idea fully takes hold, critics worry it could limit the craft itself, since acting has always been about stepping into someone else's shoes. Regardless of where you land on the debate, the concern remains the same, that these pressures may be narrowing the range of performances audiences get to see.
Does Forrest Gump get thrown under the bus too because Tom isn't really mentally challenged? And as far as we're beyond that, no, that implies progress. This is the opposite. This is regression. And it is frankly typical of so much wokeness that doesn't build on liberalism. It undoes it. Empathy, putting yourself in someone else's place so you can understand them better, used to be the very heart of liberalism. Now it's considered offensive because don't even try to put yourself in my shoes because you could never know.
And Maher is absolutely right. At least that's the argument being made. This isn't progress, not even close. If this is the direction Hollywood has chosen, then maybe it hasn't moved forward at all. It stumbled backward. Go ahead and scroll through the latest releases. Pick any one of them, then ask yourself honestly, which one genuinely moved you? Which one told a story so real and human that you saw your own life reflected on the screen? Because that used to happen all the time. People would walk out of theaters feeling something deep. They connected with the characters and cared about their struggles because those struggles felt like their own. That connection was the magic of movies. But today, some feel that magic is fading. The stories can seem distant, the characters more manufactured, and the emotional impact doesn't always land the way it once did. Hollywood used to hold up a mirror to life. Now, for some viewers, that reflection feels harder to recognize.
What a bunch of that always was. Of course, no one can ever know exactly what another person's struggle is, but we try. Black Like Me was a 1950s book about a white man who darkened his skin and went out into society because he wanted to understand what his black brothers and sisters were up against. Today, all the woke mob would see about that was a guy who did blackface. Steven Spielberg recently remade West Side Story and bent over backwards to respect ethnicities and ended up pleasing nobody. And it's too bad because the original musical was created by Stephen Sondheim, Arthur Lawrence, and Leonard Bernstein, three gay Jews.
Some critics argue that certain corners of online culture operate from a place of constant suspicion. From that perspective, no matter what someone does or why they do it, their motives can be questioned or reframed in a negative way. Take something like wearing traditional clothing from another culture. Even if it's done out of genuine respect or curiosity, critics say it can quickly be labeled as cultural appropriation before any explanation is heard. The concern is that intent and context don't always get the same attention as the reaction itself. In many cases, people feel judged before their reasons are fully understood. And according to this viewpoint, that kind of constant suspicion doesn't actually protect cultures. It can end up creating distance, building walls between people who might otherwise connect and learn from each other.
And now they're making a movie about Leonard Bernstein, and Bradley Cooper is playing him. I mean, if he can get through the picket lines. You see, like Rachel Brosnahan playing Mrs. Maisel and Helen Mirren playing Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir. Bradley is, sadly, a Gentile. And that's the new sin in Hollywood, being a non-Jewish actor portraying a Jew. Because that's always been the problem in Hollywood, not enough Jews.
Here's where the debate gets more complicated. Hollywood is full of Jewish actors who could have played Leonard Bernstein, yet the studio cast Bradley Cooper, and that decision sparked criticism from some who felt the role should have gone to someone who shared Bernstein's background. Supporters of the casting argue that Cooper is a tremendously skilled actor who fully immersed himself in the role, transforming into the character in a way they see as the essence of great acting. From that perspective, the focus should be on performance and the ability to bring a character to life. Critics, on the other hand, emphasize representation and authenticity, arguing that identity can matter in certain roles. The broader debate reflects a tension in Hollywood today, whether casting should prioritize lived experience or acting range. Some believe that returning to a performance-first approach could help the industry reconnect with audiences, while others argue for a more balanced standard that considers both.
The woke even have a word for this troubling new phenomenon, Jew-face. Do you see what I mean about them having their head up their ass? Really? The word you're using to fight anti-Semitism is Jew-face? It sounds like something Mel Gibson says at a traffic stop.
So, here's the argument being made. Hollywood spent decades moving away from practices like blackface, and now some critics feel the industry risks replacing one set of labels with another. They question where the line gets drawn. If categories keep expanding, does it start to limit the creative process rather than improve it? From this perspective, strict boxes and labels aren't protecting the art form, they may be constraining it. The core idea is that acting has always been about stepping into someone else's life, portraying experiences and backgrounds different from your own. That ability to cross boundaries with skill and authenticity is often seen as what defines a powerful performance. In the end, the argument comes down to this: labels alone don't make better movies, strong storytelling and talented performances do.
Eddie Redmayne played a transgender woman in The Danish Girl, but now calls that a mistake because many people don't have a chair at the table. Well, actually, in movies now they do. And what does it have to do with you playing trans? Does it then work the other way? Can trans actors only play trans characters? Because that's not going to be a good deal for them.
So there you have it. Bill Maher has voiced a perspective that many moviegoers share, a belief that Hollywood may have lost some of its direction. In his view, industry pressures and ongoing debates about representation have made casting and storytelling more complicated. Some actors pass on roles, standards can feel inconsistent, and audience expectations keep shifting. As a result, some viewers feel that certain films lack the authenticity and emotional connection that once defined great cinema. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Hollywood built its legacy on a simple idea: pair strong talent with honest, human stories. Many believe that approach still works and always will, and with that, we wrap up today's episode. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.